You brush twice a day. You floss when you remember to. You maybe even rinse with some mouthwash before bed because that's what you've been told to do. And then you go to the dentist. And 6 months later, somehow there's still more tartar to scrape off, more plaque, more of that yellow buildup along your gum line that you swear wasn't there the last time you looked in the mirror. Does that sound familiar? Here's something almost nobody's told right now as you're watching and listening to this. There's a thin, sticky, living layer growing across the surface of your teeth. It's called biofilm. And it's not just food. It's not just dirty teeth. It's an organized colony of living bacteria. About 700 different species can show up there. And the average adult is hosting somewhere between 50 to 100 billion individual bacterial cells in their mouth at any given moment. That's from a study published from the National Institutes of Health, by the way, not a YouTube claim or a TikTok claim. That's a real number. And the scary part, if you don't disrupt that film fast enough, your own saliva, the minerals in it, calcium, phosphate, they start hardening, cementing it, locking it onto your enamel. And once that happens, it becomes something that dentists classify as cement. The medical name is dental calculus, which literally translates to small pebble. That's what's growing on your teeth. Now, how long does this hardening take? Are you ready? Some research shows that it can build in as little as 4 to 8 hours. Most studies put full mineralization around 48 to 72 hours. Meaning the plaque you didn't quite get off Sunday night could be a microscopic pebble locked to your tooth by Wednesday morning. The reason this keeps happening to you, the real reason, has almost nothing to do with how hard you're brushing. Stick with me, because by the end of this lesson, I'm going to walk you through the actual at-home routine that breaks this cycle, including the one nighttime trick that essentially dissolves this soft layer of plaque while you sleep, before it even gets the chance to harden into tartar. So for most people, when they hear, I have plaque buildup, they think, okay, I just need to brush more, brush harder, brush longer. That's wrong. And actually brushing harder is one of the worst things you can do because it wrecks your gums and exposes the softer root surface to the bacteria you're trying to fight. Here's what's actually going on. The bacteria in your mouth, they're not just sitting there individually waiting to get rinsed away. They are communicating with each other. They produce a chemical signal called quorum sensing. And once enough of them are clumped together, they start secret treading a protective slime layer over themselves. That's the biofilm. It's basically a fortress made of proteins and sugars. And your toothbrush bristles, they physically cannot penetrate it past a certain thickness. Think of it this way. Your toothbrush is fighting an organism that was literally designed by evolution to survive being scrubbed. Plaque isn't food stuck in your teeth. Plaque is a living defense system. And the more aggressive products you throw at it, the harsh antiseptic mouthwashes, the abrasive whitening paste, the antibacterial everything, the more you nuke the good bacteria along with the bad, which we'll come back to because there's a 2013 human study out of the UK that genuinely shocked me when I first read it, and it completely changed the way I think about oral care. Okay, so if brushing harder isn't the answer, what is? Well, it starts with understanding the 5 things you're probably doing every single day that are helping the tartar harden faster on your teeth. And once you learn about this and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Okay, mistake number 1. You're feeding the bacteria without realizing it. Now, I'm not just talking about sugar in the obvious sense. Soda, candy, dessert, I'm talking about the stuff people think is healthy. The granola bar at 10 a.m., the smoothie, the flavored yogurt, the crackers, the dried fruit, the natural fruit juice, the piece of bread with your salad, all of it gets broken down into simple sugars that the bacteria use as rocket fuel. And it's not the amount of sugar, it's the frequency. Every time you sip coffee with a little sweetener in it, every time you snack and nibble on a cracker, every time you chew gum that isn't sugar-free, you're restarting the acid attack on your teeth all over again. The bacteria eat the sugar. They secrete lactic acid and the pH in your mouth crashes. And when the pH crashes, minerals start getting stripped out of your enamel and deposited into plaque, helping it harden faster. So if you're somebody who grazes all day long, you're eating every 2 to 3 hours because you've been told it revs up your metabolism. It doesn't do that, even if it's a healthy snack. When you snack and graze, you're essentially keeping the bacteria party running 14 hours a day. That fuzzy feeling on your teeth at 2 p.m., even though you brushed at 7 o'clock a.m., that's the biofilm rebuilding itself in real time. So eliminate the snacking and eat 3 meals a day, whole food, low in sugar, low in processed carbohydrates. Mistake number 2, your mouth is too dry and you don't know it. Saliva is your mouth's number 1 defense system. Most people think it's there to just help you swallow. It's not. It's a delivery system for antimicrobial enzymes. It buffers acid, it remineralizes your enamel, and it physically washes bacteria off the surface of your teeth. Without enough saliva, all of that stops. And modern life is crushing saliva production, mouth breathing while you sleep. Antihistamines, antidepressants, blood pressure meds, caffeine, alcohol, vaping, simply not drinking enough high-quality water. All of this dries you out. If you wake up in the morning and your mouth feels like a desert and your teeth feel furry, that's 8 hours of bacterial overgrowth in a dry environment with no saliva to keep them in check. That's the exact environment that tartar thrives in. So make sure you're drinking throughout the day high-quality spring water. Make sure you're breathing through your nose versus your mouth, especially when you sleep. You could consider mouth taping. When you fix this, it'll do more for you than mouthwash and just brushing your teeth more. Mistake number 3, you're using toothpaste that's actively hurting you. This is a big one, and it's the one that, when I learned about it, genuinely made me go to my bathroom and throw out all of my products. So, back in 2013, researchers at the London School of Medicine published a study where they had healthy volunteers rinse with a common mouthwash twice a day for 7 days. That's it. 1 week, their oral bacteria got reduced by, wait for it, about 90% in terms of nitrate converting bacteria. And what happened to their blood pressure? It went up. In a follow-up review summarizing this work, researchers reported a 2 to 3.5 millimeter of mercury increase in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure in healthy people from your mouthwash. That's the equivalent of being put on a loud dose blood pressure medication in reverse. And in some of the more aggressive studies, the increase was even higher. In people who already had high blood pressure, researchers reported jumps that frankly no cardiologist would be okay with. Why does this happen? Because there's a specific group of bacteria living on your tongue and in your saliva whose entire job is to take dietary intake of nitrates from green leafy vegetables, beets, that sort of thing, and convert them into nitrates, which your body then converts into something called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a very important signaling molecule that opens up your blood vessels that causes something called vasodilation. It lowers blood pressure, it supports heart health, supports your brain, supports circulation, supports your mitochondria, and helps regulate your entire oral environment. When you nuke these bacteria with harsh toothpaste or antiseptic mouthwash, you don't just clean your teeth, you shut down your body's natural blood pressure regulation system. And here's the awful truth. Most commercial toothpaste are designed to do exactly that. Sterilize, kill everything, and make your mouth a wasteland. It's no wonder tartar keeps coming back for so many people and why your gums bleed and why your breath gets worse after just a few hours of brushing. You're not cleaning your mouth. You're unknowingly turning it into a bad environment. Mistake number 4, you're ignoring the biofilm entirely. This means you're treating the symptom, not the structure. When you brush, you're removing maybe 60 to 70% of the soft plaque that's accessible above the gum line. The rest is sitting in these protected zones between the teeth, just under the gum line in the grooves of the MERS. Those are the places where the biofilm gets the thickest. The oxygen levels are the lowest. And the worst kinds of bacteria, they're called the anaerobes, the ones linked to periodontal disease, are happiest. This is why people who only brush and don't disrupt the biofilm between the teeth get tartar, specifically along the gum line and between their lower front teeth. That's the spot where saliva pulls and minerals deposit fastest. So go look in the mirror right now and you could see that yellow-brown buildup just behind your lower front teeth. That's not a brushing problem. That's a biofilm disruption problem, and we'll fix it. Mistake number 5, your mouth is too acidic for most of the day. Healthy mouth pH should be sitting somewhere in between 7.0 to 7.4, which is slightly alkaline. That's the environment that your enamel was designed to live in. That's the environment that good bacteria like. But what's modern life doing to that pH? Coffee in the morning, and I'm not against coffee. I just had my coffee, but cheap coffee and coffee throughout the day. Well, coffee has a pH around 5. What about drinking sparkling water all day long? That's a pH of 3 to 4. What about citrus, orange juice, lemon water? That's a pH of 2 to 3. How about that glass of wine after dinner? That's a pH of 3 to 4. Hey, how about your healthy kombucha? That's a pH of 3. Every single sip is dropping you into the acidic zone. And every time the pH drops below about 5.5, your enamel starts losing minerals. Those minerals, the calcium, the phosphate, they don't just disappear into the void. They get redeposited into the plaque, which is exactly how plaque turns into tartar. You are quite literally feeding stones onto your teeth every time you sip on something acidic. So just take a second and pause and think about that. You go in for your dental cleaning. The hygienist scrapes away the tartar. You leave with clean teeth. Then within hours, the biofilm starts rebuilding. Within a couple of days, it's stable. Within a couple of weeks, the bacteria have figured out the same protected pockets they were living in before. Within months, you're right back where you started. And the cycle repeats forever. It's not because you're lazy or didn't floss enough. It's not because you have bad teeth genetics, even though I know that's probably what your dentist is telling you. It's because the environment inside your mouth, the pH, the saliva, the bacterial balance, the daily acid attacks is set up perfectly for tartar to form. You can't outscrape an environment problem. You have to change the environment. Okay, so this is the part you came here for. The number one remedy, and the reason why this works so fast, the reason why it works essentially overnight, is because you stop trying to attack the tartar and you change the conditions that are creating it. And there's one window of time during the day where this matters the most. That window is the 7 to 8 hours you're asleep. While you sleep, your saliva flow drops to almost nothing. About 1/10 of your daytime production. Your mouth pH drops, your temperature drops, and the bacteria with no saliva to wash them away and no oxygen exchange because your mouth is closed for hours, they get to multiply uninterrupted. That's why your breath smells the way that it does in the morning. That's why your teeth feel fuzzy when you wake up. That's not random. That's 8 hours of biofilm formation in the most favorable conditions the bacteria will get all day. So if you can shift the environment of your mouth right before bed, make it alkaline, make it hydrated, disrupt the biofilm one last time and seed it with good bacteria instead of nuking everything, you essentially flip the script. The same hours that used to be the worst 8 hours for your teeth becomes the best 8 hours for your teeth. So here's a routine, and I'll keep it simple because the routines that get done are the ones that are the easiest to do. Step 1, floss first, not after brushing. Before you brush, you want to break apart the biofilm in those tight spaces where the toothbrush can't reach, and you want to do it before you introduce anything else so the active ingredients in step 2 can actually penetrate. Step 2, use a toothpaste that's not nuking your microbiome. And this is exactly where the routine has been broken for almost everyone watching and listening to this because the toothpaste industry has been built around the wrong goal for the last 50 years. Look, after researching all of this, I threw out almost everything I had in my bathroom because once you understand that your mouth is an ecosystem, not a battlefield, you start looking at toothpaste completely differently. Most commercial toothpaste are designed to sterilize your mouth, meaning it kills everything. But the problem is some of the bacteria on your tongue are actually helping you produce nitric oxide. One of the most important molecules for blood flow, circulation, blood pressure, gum health, and your oral microbiome overall, which is exactly why I started using N101 fluoride-free toothpaste developed by a world-leading nitric oxide researcher, Dr. Nathan Bryan. I've learned so much from Dr. Nathan Bryan over the years. He's been on major podcasts, including Diary of a CEO, and of course, my podcast, The Benazati Show. Look, this toothpaste is completely different than anything I've used before. No fluoride, no harsh antiseptics, no SLS, no toxic junk. Instead, it's designed to support the good bacteria in your mouth instead of nuking them, which means fresher breath, healthier gums, better enamel support, less dry mouth, and a healthier oral environment overall. And right now, they hooked up my audience, you, with a 10% off discount that you can only get by using the link down below and the coupon code in the description box. And here's the cool part. When you order, you actually get 3 tubes of this amazing healing toothpaste. So you're stocked up for months. But fair warning, however, quantity is limited and they're moving fast. So if you want to try it, now is the time to grab it before they run out. Just click the first link in the description box below, or if you're watching on YouTube, scan the QR code on the screen with your phone. Once you go there, you're going to see this page, Cardio Smile Nitric Oxide Toothpaste Bundle. You're going to scroll down, either purchase one time, subscribe, and save. I'm going to do a one-time purchase, add to the cart, and when you get to the checkout page right here, you'll see an option to add their nitric oxide lozenges to your order. I take those lozenges every day. I take it with me when I travel. I highly recommend them because they pair nicely with the toothpaste for supporting nitric oxide production. And when you add the lozenges, you'll get free shipping on your entire order. So you simply hit add right there and then under got a discount code. You're going to put the code ADAUDI and hit apply, and you'll get the nice 10% off and free shipping. The nitric oxide, the way that I use it, I simply just pop one lozenge in just like this from the bottle in the morning, and I pop one at night. I also pop one on an airplane when I'm traveling. So honestly, if you're really serious about improving your oral health and oral microbiome, which will lead to better blood flow, better teeth, better circulation, less plaque and tartar, this is how you do it. They also offer a money-back guarantee. So there's really no risk in trying it for yourself. If you've been stuck in the cycle of plaque, tartar, bad breath, bleeding gums, dry mouth, constant cleanings while feeling like nothing is actually working for you, this may be one of the simple upgrades you can make all year, because the goal isn't to destroy your mouth. It's to create an environment where the bad bacteria stop winning. Click the first link in the description box below or scan the QR code. Okay, back to the protocol. Step 3. After you brush, don't rinse with water. This is the part where most people get wrong. When you immediately wash everything out with water, you're rinsing away the minerals you just deposited on your teeth before they had a chance to do their job. So spit out the excess, but leave a thin film on your teeth. Let it sit overnight. That's 8 hours of contact time. Step 4. Sleep with a glass of water on your nightstand and take small sips if you wake up. The goal is to keep your saliva flowing. If you snore, mouth breathe, or wake up with a dry mouth, as I mentioned earlier, try mouth taping. I know it sounds weird and extreme, but try it for a week and tell me your morning breath isn't a different experience. I've been mouth taping every night for years. Okay, step 5. This one is the optional one, but it is powerful. Some kind of nitric oxide supporting nutrient at night. Could be, beet juice right after your dinner. It could be having some arugula or green leafy vegetables with dinner. Or it could be a nitric oxide lozenge from N101 right before bed. Whatever it is, you're giving your good bacteria the raw material that it needs to work with overnight. That's it. 5 steps, maybe 12 minutes of total effort, and it doesn't just fight tartar. It makes your mouth a place where tartar cannot form in the first place. Now, here's the biggest picture I want you to walk away with. Almost everything we've been taught about tartar is wrong because it treats your mouth like a battlefield. Kill the bacteria, scrape the tartar, bleach the stains, fluoride the cavities, war, war, war. But your mouth is not a battlefield. Your mouth is a beautiful ecosystem. Roughly half of all American adults over 30 have some form of gum disease. That's according to the CDC. That number jumps to 70% for adults over 65. Not because we're not brushing or not brushing hard enough. Most of us brush twice a day. We're losing this war because we've been fighting the wrong war. There's substantial research showing the link between bacteria that cause gum disease, particularly gingivitis, and it's being connected to systemic inflammation, heart disease, and possibly even Alzheimer's. Harvard's Health publication has covered the link. So has the National Institutes of Aging. So has the journal Science. Researchers have actually found those mouth bacteria inside the brains of Alzheimer's patients. See, the mouth is the front door of your entire body. What happens at the front door affects every room in the house. And before you go, I've got something I've been working on for quite some time. I want you to be the first person to know about this. I have a new book coming out called Keto Flex Revised. It comes out July 21st, and you could actually pre-order it right now. In this book, you learn more ways to lower inflammation, eat the right green leafy vegetables, practice keto and fasting to lower inflammation, which will not only help with the protocol you just learned, but it gives you the exact blueprint I've applied to tens of thousands of students. it goes through my proprietary 4-pillar system. And the book has 50 plus fat-burning recipes at the end of it. And when you order the book today in any format, paperback, Kindle, Audible, Spotify, yes, I also narrated those myself, you'll get exclusive bonus chapters delivered to you as a downloadable PDF right away when you pre-order the book. So head to the link in the description below or go to ketolexbook.com or scan the QR code on the screen to pre-order and get those free bonuses. And as we land the plane here, this is genuinely good news for you. It's this. Your mouth can change faster than almost any other tissue inside of your body. Within 2 weeks of changing the environment following the protocol I just shared, the bacterial composition starts to shift. Within a month, your gum tissue looks different. Within 3 months, your dentist will notice a significant difference at your next appointment. And one more thing I'll add to the equation that I didn't put into the protocol. You might also want to consider tongue scraping as well. Get a stainless steel tongue scraper and scrape it 10 to 15 times every night and in the morning. This also helps with the nitric oxide producing bacteria in your mouth. If this lesson has made something click for you, if you've been quietly battling plaque and tartar and bad breath for years and you've been blaming yourself for not brushing hard enough, or if you know somebody stuck in the same loop, share this lesson with them. Because the answer was never to brush harder or to take more mouthwash. The answer was to stop fighting your mouth and start working with it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this lesson, I just published a video on why I believe we should forget diets. And this diet was found by research to be one of the best for flushing out sugar and bad fats and shrinking your belly fat overnight. You're going to want to learn more about this diet. Here's a clip from that video. Then click the video on the screen coming up in a few seconds, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Your body is designed to move sugar kind of like a drainage system. Use it, store it, or clear it. When that system slows down, it's like a pipe that's partially blocked. You keep pouring water in, but it isn't flowing the way that it used to. It backs up, and eventually over time, what happens? It spills over. That overflow, that's